In this episode of Falmouth in Focus, welcome Connor O'Reilly back to Falmouth after his recovery ride across the U.S. and kick off the Christmas at Holidays at Highfield. All this and much more on this episode of Falmouth in Focus. Hello and welcome to Falmouth in Focus, FCTV's current affairs program. I'm your host, Michael Kasparian. The increase in diagnosed cases of COVID-19 across the United States has made it challenging to enjoy the company of family and friends during the holiday season. Finding alternatives to large indoor gatherings, maintaining social distancing, and abiding the travel restrictions currently in place will go a long way to curb the spread of the virus. Falmouth's health agent, Scott McGann, continues to stay on top of the latest local and state information and regulations. Tune in to his weekly updates on FCTV Government Channel 15, our Facebook page, and fctv.org, which also includes links to local and state safety information. Those of us who have visited the Knob in Woods Hole know that it is one of our town's treasures, where visitors can enjoy spectacular views of Quistit Harbor and Buzzards Bay. Beginning this month, work has begun to repair the physical integrity of the Knob, and access will be limited.
Hi, I'm Katie Taylor. I'm the Executive Director of Salt Pond Area's Bird Sanctuaries, and we're here at the entrance to the Knob at Quistit Harbor. Salt Pond has owned the Knob property since 1973, when it was bequeathed to us from Cornelia Carey. The property that I'm standing on right now is actually the Quistit Harbor House Land Trust land that we have an easement over to allow the public to access the Knob property and enjoy this beautiful 13-acre site that's open to the public for visitors. The outermost rock armor that protects the outer area of the Knob has had quite a bit of erosion from storm action and wave action, so let's go take a look at those areas. Here we are at the outer area of the Knob where the rock armor, as you can see, along the edge of the outer promontory, that is where the construction work will begin this year. The large rocks that you see out at the end of the Knob will be replaced, and behind those rocks there will be siltstone and more material that will shore up the area to avoid this slipping of the stones and the erosion behind the rocks. After the rock armor is completed and the stonework has taken place, you can see we've had to cut back quite a bit of the vegetation, and there is a vegetation management plan to restore how the Knob looks, and we'll put some native vegetation in there, and it will return eventually to how it used to look in its natural state prior to the construction. The area east of the stairs will be shored up with fiber rolls in order to help save some of the erosion that is taking place from wave action right next to the stairway. So as you can see, in the next few weeks, when this work actually begins, this area will need to be closed. It won't be safe for visitors. There'll be large machinery and equipment, contractors working out here, so we will need to limit the access to just the harbor side of the Knob property. The Knob will still be a beautiful place to visit. The wonderful trails and the views are still breathtaking. It's wonderful for people to be outside right now during these difficult times. After the work is completed, there won't be any changes. You'll see the vegetation growing back, but we are all about keeping the Knob as it is today in its natural state. Salt Pond Area's Bird Sanctuaries is a nonprofit private conservation group. We own over 250 acres of conservation land in Falmouth. The Knob is just one of those. We are doing this project in a collaboration with the Quistit Harbor House Land Trust and the Quistit Preservation Trust. And we have to give huge thanks to the Quistit Harbor Preservation Trust because they have done the lion's share of the fundraising for this project, which is estimated to be $1.1 million. this work is scheduled to be completed in the late spring of 2021, and then we can reopen all of the trails, and the knob will be back to being enjoyed by the thousands of people that come annually to this beautiful site.
FCTV will continue to monitor the progress of the project, so stay tuned to future episodes. Thanks to Andrew Richards for that story. On October 17th, a fire destroyed the concession stand used by the Falmouth Commodores at the Gov. Fuller Field. Deemed suspicious in nature by the Falmouth Fire Department, the fire was extinguished quickly, but the structure and everything inside was considered to be a total loss.
I heard about it, I believe it was that night or first early in the morning. I had gotten a text that there was a fire, and when I saw the pictures of it, first I was thankful that no one was hurt. I don't believe there was much storage in there at all of Artie's, who owned the concession stand, basically. And so we were very fortunate. Disappointed because the shed has been there for years. Okay. Never had a problem before. And I don't know whether the pandemic has caused some of these things to happen around, but who knows. Last I heard was they suspected arson, and the town offered a $5,000 reward, but I don't know where it's gone from there, and I haven't heard anything further. I did hear at one point they were wondering if there was a piece of refrigeration that might have been on, but I don't believe that was the case. So I'm hoping, we just get through this, and hopefully we can work with the town in figuring out a replacement for next year coming up and move forward. We've asked our general manager, Chris Fitzgerald, has going to be talking with Artie, who runs the concession, to see what he may have available, like maybe a trailer of some sort that could be used. We also have talked, some people have mentioned on the committee, have mentioned about a tent out in right field beyond the outfield fence to possibly run a concession out there for 1 year. A lot will depend on, I think, what the town will require us to do, and the Board of Health and so on, because none of those features have running water or anything like that, so we'd have to work out something that would allow us to operate on a temporary basis. I mean, you could buy another shed and have it put on that spot. And the electricity line is underground already, that we could possibly use that. Now, whether the town, in receiving insurance money for the shed, would give us something, we don't know. Those are all things up in the air right at the moment.
The Falmouth Police Department continues to investigate the incident. Thank you to Chris Smallis for that update. It's time now for 3 things from Town Hall, FCTV's condensed version of the takeaways from recent municipal meetings. Selections are chosen based on community impact.
Representatives from the school committee gave a report to the select board in their last meeting. The chair of the school committee, Kelly Welsh, detailed to the board various models and strategies the schools are using to help combat the COVID-19 pandemic, such as remote and hybrid learning. In addition, School Superintendent Lori Dewar reported positive behavior and adherence to the new rules by students throughout the district, then gave a brief rundown of the handful of COVID-19 cases the school has dealt with thus far.
So since September, not on schedule as we usually do right after Labor Day, but we've had kids back to school, which is wonderful, and that is, to be celebrated for sure. So our pre-K through 4 are in person every day. So the littlest learners getting exactly what they really need. They're not going to do well on computers, and they need to be in school. The grades 5 through 12 are in a hybrid model, as you probably know, which means they're going every other week, with the exception of really high needs and vulnerable kids who are in special programs, or even kids who, since hybrid has started, have been identified by their teachers as just not succeeding in the hybrid model. About 125 students have moved from hybrid into being in person, just like all of the vulnerable and high needs students are. They're getting to go every day.
A collaborative group from Woods Hole with representatives from the marine institutions reported to the board a climate change and vulnerability assessment and adaptation plan they have constructed dealing with how each institution is planning for more sea level rise in the future. The report detailed key assets and buildings in Woods Hole and potential strategies to protect them moving forward.
So we evaluated 118 assets among the three institutions, 36 at Hui, 54 at MBL, and 28 at NOAA, distributed among those parcels that you see on the map here. And Rob, if you step through the next four steps, you'll get to the sea level rise projections through 2100. So we were looking at buildings, parking lots, docks, cranes, generators, and fuel tanks in all of these areas. And if you think about sea level rise from a natural perspective, the habitat change, this area is projected to lose approximately 50 acres of upland area to wetland transition as sea level rises.
Similarly, the Woods Hole group gave a report to the select board at this meeting as well, citing specifically the vulnerability of the Surf Drive area of Falmouth. Elise Leduc discussed details having to do with Surf Drive and its tendency for flooding due to sea level rise. Ms. Leduc gave many scenarios and possible solutions to issues concerning the area, but stressed again that there is no one solution to the sea level rise problem, and that Falmouth will have to continue to monitor the pace of sea level rise and adapt engineering practices in accordance.
Key features here, and under natural resources, under the short term, some planning would need to happen to start thinking about how to relocate the sewer main, how to potentially start stopping services to the roadway to prepare to remove the roadway in the future, and initiating discussions with property owners and to potentially install a berm around the town hall to protect it with a nature-based solution, and then elevating the sewer pump station by the Surf Drive beach.
To see the meetings in their entirety, check out Government Channel 15's program schedule at fctv.org. It's time now for our calendar segment. On Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, from December 4th through December 19th, the Wacoit Congregational Church will be holding their annual tree and wreath sale to benefit local charities. Go to wacoitucc.org for more information. On December 12th at 8 a.m., meet outside the Woods Hole Library with a rake, warm gloves, good spirits, and a willingness to pitch in for the fall cleanup. Be ready to rake and bag, snip and prune, and clean up the library grounds to get the place looking shipshape for winter. Many hands make light work, so let them know you're coming by calling 508-548-8961. On December 17th, the Falmouth Jewish Congregation hosts a Jewish Book Council talk on Zoom, spotlighting Donna Rifkind's latest work entitled The Sun and Her Stars. For registration information, contact Pamela Rothstein at pbrothstein@comcast.net. Finally, don't forget to join us on Thursday, December 17th, for the next virtual installment of our open mic series, Poetic License. Sign up for another night of poetry and prose, stories and songs, with entertainment provided by you and your friends and neighbors. Pre-register by Wednesday, December 16th to receive your Zoom login information. Check out fctv.org for more information. We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we'll welcome Connor O'Reilly back to Falmouth. Stay with us. Welcome back. Since the beginning of September, we've been following Cape Cod native Connor O'Reilly as he biked cross-country to raise awareness about the role that mindfulness and exercise can play in recovery from substance abuse. Along the way, he's been raising funds for WellStrong, a fitness and wellness community in Falmouth that provides a safe, supportive community for those in recovery. After completing his journey in late November, Connor returned to where it all began in Falmouth.
We wanted to celebrate Connor's return here. You know, he was out on the West Coast and everyone couldn't be there with him. So one of our team members decided, wouldn't it be fun to have a few of us following him on a bike? So we invited anybody that wanted to come to hop on a bike. We rode down to the Atlantic Ocean on our bike, so he finished in the Pacific Ocean, and we turned around and came back to other WellStrong members and supporters and friends just cheering on and welcoming Connor back to the East Coast.
Yeah, it's kind of surreal. I mean, this is where I left on the trip. It's kind of like a full circle. Although the ride was like from point A to point B. It's like, it's hard to put into words. I'm like excited to be back. It's still kind of in shock about the whole thing. I had some goals like timeline and stuff like that I didn't necessarily meet, but I learned so much in accepting that not happening. It's kind of silly, but the whole Nike just do it thing. But that's really kind of the way I did it. I mean, it's like, jump. It's going to work out the way it's going to work out. If you fail, you fail. If you succeed, you succeed. And really like find pleasure in the process and not the end result.
So when we started, Connor came to us. This was not a fundraising thing that we were putting together. People just wanted to give. Some businesses really wanted to participate and show their support. Some of the sponsors knew Connor personally, which was nice. Others were board members or people that knew board members who had businesses. And we've reached $20,000, and it's just phenomenal. The generosity. We do have our online. We're above that. Our online goal is 25, but it was just been a phenomenal. We did have two WellStrong staff out there. Well, we had Sarah, who you've met before, and Jen Clark, and they met him, and he rode in on a beautiful sunny day, and he got off his bike, to a big welcome, and ran into the Pacific Ocean, and it was just a beautiful, beautiful sight. He was, I think it was maybe a little bittersweet for him. He finally reached his goal, which is really exciting. But now, the journey is over. So, but it was a very, very special time.
I met so many people at gas stations and places like that. It was a nice experience because I spent a lot of time by myself on the road, and to have unexpectedly someone literally just pop out in the middle of Kentucky and invite me into their home was an amazing experience. But coming back here and being connected with WellStrong again in this space feels really nice.
To learn more about WellStrong and the support they provide, go to wellstrong.org. Thanks to Andrew Richards for that coverage. Holidays at Highfield has been a local tradition for many years, and this year is no exception. Although the existing COVID-19 safety and health protocols will be in place, Highfield will offer the public an outdoor and indoor holiday-themed experience to remember. Let's take a look.
Welcome to Highfield Hall and Gardens in Falmouth. My name is Tara Burke, the co-executive director, and we welcome you here along with my other colleague, Lisa Walker, to Holidays at Highfield. The theme this year is it's the most wonderful time of the year, and in spite of this year, 2020, it has been and is the most wonderful time of the year to celebrate the holidays with friends and family, however you can do that. And we're welcoming everybody into the hall and hope you can join us this season. We have wonderful designs by our extraordinary event designer, Rita Pacheco, has done an amazing job transforming Highfield into this wonderland of design and wonderful vignettes for you to look at. One of the most interesting things that Rita has done is she's shown us how to create or recreate using things you have in your home. And you'd be surprised if you walked into your basement what you could find and repurpose for the holidays. Some of the programs we have scheduled are the Victorian Carolers. They were here last Sunday. They will be performing again this Sunday, December 6th. And they are amazing, and they just transcend the time, and their voices and the songs are just so beautiful. We have performances from the Cape Symphony, and the students will be here performing on this beautiful piano. Gorgeous, gorgeous performances. We have storytellers out on the front lawn, including Santa, who will be telling stories in front of Stickworks. We have a nice mix of music inside and out, performances inside and out, so you don't have to come into the home to enjoy yourselves. Come in, come up to the property, walk around, and enjoy the surroundings. They are beautiful. One thing I'd like to point out for everybody that's viewing this is the safety precautions that we have in place are really quite extensive. First and foremost, you do need to register online for your 2-hour block of time. We are keeping to the protocol the state has mandated. However, you'd be surprised because at any 2-hour interval, there's never more than 20 people in the house at once. So it's quite lovely, very serene. There's not a lot of crowds or crowding. Everybody has been so wonderful at social distancing. There are sanitation stations throughout the home, and it has been just so gratifying to see people be so respectful of one another and distancing from one another. So please, regardless of what you're experiencing with this pandemic, please know that coming to Highfield is truly safe, and you will enjoy the holidays and get you into the Christmas spirit and enjoy some cheer. The 14th annual Holidays at Highfield will be running each weekend, Thursday through Sunday, from noon to 6 each day, and the last weekend it's running is the 12th and 13th, being Sunday. So come on along. This weekend is just, we have amazing lineup this weekend and next weekend, and I hope you can join us.
Go to highfieldhallandgardens.org for more information. Thanks to Tony Sedera for that story. We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we'll go to fishing for trout with Ryan Collins of My Fishing Cape Cod for some fall fishing tips. Stay with us. Welcome back. The December holiday season is right around the corner, but the trout are still biting on the Cape. Here's Ryan Collins of My Fishing Cape Cod with more.
Cape Cod is world-renowned for its beaches and saltwater fishing, but the region is also home to over 360 freshwater kettle ponds. Formed thousands of years ago by receding glaciers, these freshwater ponds can be close to 100 feet deep and are stocked with a variety of different trout species. Trout fishing can be a relaxing and therapeutic form of fishing. Plus, trout fishing is also a wonderful way of introducing beginning anglers to the sport.
One of the easiest ways to catch trout, especially rainbow trout that are stocked here both spring and fall, is to use power bait. Key to using the power bait is you want to use a sliding slip weight that I have here. Steel weight, because lead is illegal here in the state of Massachusetts under 1 ounce. I have a fluorocarbon leader, 8-pound fluorocarbon leader, and a small mosquito light hook. The key to the power bait is it needs to float off the bottom. If it's sitting on the bottom, the trout are not going to pick it up. So what I'm going to do here, this is my hook. I'm going to bait up right now. These are gulp power eggs. They're a little stinky, but trout seem to love them. I like to put 3 on the hook to make sure that the bait is floating off the bottom of the water. So once you cast out and that weight is on the bottom, this bait is floating approximately 18 inches off the bottom. Then I put my rod back into a rod holder with a strike indicator on the line to let me know if for any little slightest bite from a trout. All right, so I'm gonna send this baby out and hopefully catch a trout.
While Danny is tending the lines, I decide to cast a small spoon. The spoon mimics fleeing baitfish, and it's a great lure to use when you want to cover ground and explore new shoreline. It wasn't long before my efforts paid off.
That's a nice one.
Oh yeah, he's taking some line.
That'll be a nice trout.
Coming right at me now. Oh yeah. Nice little rainbow. Well, thanks for hooking me up with this spoon, Danny.
The old Thomas Buoyant does it again.
Yeah. Well, why don't we talk about handling the trout while I have this guy here?
Yeah, the trout are extremely fragile. I don't recommend anyone even trying to lift them out of the water. It's best to try to keep them in the water as long as possible, and just try to use a simple pair of needle nose pliers. Whoop. Come on over here. To extract the hook. Because it seems as soon as you touch that fish, I don't know if it's the coating on their body, but they're, like I said, they're just so fragile. If you handle them too much, they're just gonna die.
Well, fortunately, this guy isn't hooked too bad, and I think he'll probably go in just a second here. Yep, there we go.
Beautiful, nice release, Ryan.
All right, well,
excellent.
Thank you very much. That was fun.
All right, let's get some bigger ones.
The bite really cooled off as the day approached noon. This gave me an opportunity to look around at the scenery and just enjoy the peace and quiet. Fishing for trout on Cape Cod can be a therapeutic experience, and it's a great way of introducing young anglers to the sport. Thanks to the Mass Wildlife Trout Stocking Program, the kettle ponds on Cape Cod provide anglers with great trout fishing all winter long. Until next time, tight lines and take care.
Thanks to Ryan Collins of My Fishing Cape Cod for that video segment. This year, Falmouth High School students and staff gathered virtually to celebrate the FHS annual Senior Honors and Awards ceremony. Students were recognized for a number of accomplishments, including the Massachusetts Association of School Superintendents Outstanding Achievement, AP Scholarship, John and Abigail Adams Scholarship Recipient Awards, and the recognition of the top 10 students of the class of 2021.
These are a series of awards that have been given to the guidance office since last spring. These are a timely process of delivering them at this time so that you can add them to your transcripts, to your college applications, and so forth. So we're excited to do that with you.
We are really proud of you, even in the midst of a tornado warning. We are so proud and delighted to bestow upon you these wonderful awards. You exemplify the best of what it means to be a Clipper here in Falmouth, and we congratulate you and are so proud of you.
As for your excellence in academic performance and outstanding citizenship. Achievement is something accomplished, especially by superior ability, special effort, great courage, or deed. Be proud of your accomplishments. Never let anything get in your way of trying and succeeding. Please know we are very proud of you for your outstanding work and for your recognitions here today.
Thanks to Ryan Weber for that story. FCTV wants to remind you that television can be as easy as hitting record on your smartphone. We'd like to invite all Falmouth residents and visitors to share their slice of life with us. Email us your photos and videos, or upload them to Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram using the hashtag MyFalmouth or Falmouth in Focus to be featured on the show. Thank you to our most recent contributors. We leave you now with the sights and sounds from the Solstice Singers caroling at Nobska Lighthouse. Thank you for watching Falmouth in Focus. We'll see you next time.
Deck the hall with boughs of holly, fa la 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 la. 'Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la. Don we now our gay apparel, fa la 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 la. Roll the ancient Yuletide carol, fa la 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 la. See the blazing Yule before